What would you do if someone desecrated the one place that kept your loved one's memory alive? For me, that place was a simple wooden bench in Willow Park, its brass plaque etched with my mother's name. Amelia Rose Harper, forever in our hearts. She'd passed 2 years ago, her laughter stolen by cancer, and that bench was where I went to feel her presence. It was sacred, until Karen ruined it. I'd always known Karen Milford as the neighborhood's self-appointed enforcer. In her mid-40s, with a peroxide blonde bob and a perpetual scowl, she strutted around Willow Park like she owned it. She'd complain about unleashed dogs, kids on skateboards, or picnics that were too loud. Most people ignored her, rolling their eyes at her petty crusades. But I never imagined she'd target my bench. It was a crisp October morning when I saw it. I come to the park with a thermos of coffee, ready to sit and talk to Mom like I always did. But as I approached, my stomach dropped. The bench was covered in angry red spray paint. "Move this eyesore!" scrawled across the backrest, the plaque smeared with streaks of crimson. My hands shook as I touched the cold wood, my mother's name barely legible beneath the vandalism. Who could do this? Who could be so cruel? I called my sister, Lily, who lived across town. "It's got to be Karen," she said, her voice tight with anger. "She's been whining about that bench for months, saying it blocks her view of the lake." Couldn't believe it. Karen had grumbled at community meetings, claiming the bench was poorly placed and ruined the park's aesthetic. But to deface it, that was a new low even for her. Fury burned in my chest, but I didn't have proof. Not yet. I took photos, my hands trembling so badly I could barely hold my phone. The park was quiet, the early morning joggers oblivious to the desecration. I sat on the grass, staring at the bench, feeling like Mom was slipping away all over again. I needed answers. That afternoon, I went to the police station. My uncle, Chief Daniel Harper, was in his office, his broad shoulders hunched over paperwork. He wasn't just family, was the kind of cop who knew every face in town, who'd seen it all but still believed in justice. When I showed him the photos, his jaw tightened. "This is personal, Ethan," he said, his voice low. "We'll get to the bottom of it." The investigation moved fast. Uncle Dan pulled security footage from a nearby park camera, and there she was, Karen Milford, caught red-handed literally. At 2 a.m., she'd crept to the bench with a can of spray paint, her face illuminated by a street lamp as she scrawled her hateful message. The footage was grainy, but it was her. No question. My blood boiled, but Uncle Dan put a hand on my shoulder. "Let the system handle this," he said. "She'll pay." Word spread quickly in our small town. By the next day, whispers about Karen's crime were everywhere: grocery store lines, coffee shops, even the park itself. People were outraged. The bench wasn't just mine. It was a symbol of community, of loss, of love. Karen, oblivious to the storm brewing, posted on the neighborhood's online forum, doubling down. That bench was a blight. Someone had to do something. Her arrogance was staggering. She didn't know Uncle Dan was already building a case. But then came the twist I didn't see coming. At the next community meeting, a man stood up, his voice trembling. His name was Tom Wheeler, a quiet retiree who rarely spoke. "I saw what happened," he said, his eyes darting nervously. But it wasn't just Karen. The room went silent. Tom explained that his teenage grandson, Jake, had been with Karen that night. Jake, a troubled kid who'd fallen in with the wrong crowd, had been pressured by Karen to help her. She'd promised him cash, exploiting his desperation to fit in. Tom's confession hit me like a punch. Karen wasn't just a bully, she was a manipulator, dragging a kid into her vendetta. I felt a strange mix of anger and pity. Jake was only 16, a boy struggling with his own demons. I remembered Mom talking about second chances, how she'd volunteer at the youth center to help kids like him. Would she want me to hate him or to understand? I wasn't sure. But Karen? She had no excuse. The case went to court. Karen's lawyer tried to spin it, claiming she was protecting the park's beauty, and that Jake was the real culprit. But the footage didn't lie, and neither did Tom's testimony. Jake faced community service, his record sealed because of his age. Karen, though, was charged with vandalism and criminal mischief. Uncle Dan made sure the judge knew the bench's significance. Karen was ordered to pay for repairs and serve 200 hours of community service cleaning every bench in Willow Park, including Mom's. I thought that would be the end of it. Justice served, right? But the real pain came later. I went back to the park after the bench was restored, the plaque gleaming again, Mom's name clear and proud. I sat there, tracing the letters, trying to feel her presence. But something was different. The bench was just wood and metal now, a thing defaced and repaired. The sacredness was gone, tainted by Karen's cruelty and the town's gossip. Even Jake's involvement left a bitter taste. His apology, delivered through Tom, felt hollow against the memory of Mom's smile. I started visiting the park less often. Lily noticed, begging me to let it go, to find another way to honor Mom. But how do you replace a piece of your heart? I tried planting flowers near the bench, marigolds like the ones Mom loved, but they withered in the autumn frost. I tried writing letters to her, but the words felt empty. The truth was, Karen hadn't just defaced a bench, stolen my refuge, my connection to the woman who'd taught me to be kind, to be strong. One evening, I ran into Tom at the park. He was alone, sitting on a different bench, staring at the lake. I almost walked away, but something made me stop. "How's Jake?" I asked, my voice tighter than I meant it to be. Tom's eyes were red, his hands clasped tightly. "He's trying," he said. "He feels awful about what happened. Keeps saying he wishes he could take it back." I nodded, not trusting myself to speak. Tom looked at me, his voice breaking. "Your mom helped my daughter once years ago. Got her into rehab when no one else cared. I should have told you sooner. That hit me hard. Mom, always giving, always seeing the good in people. I wondered what she'd think of Jake, of Karen, of me. Would she forgive them? Would she tell me to let go? I didn't know. But Tom's words reminded me that her light had touched more lives than I'd realized. Maybe that was her real memorial, not a bench, but the people she'd changed. I stopped going to the park after that. Not because I was angry, but because I realized Mom wasn't there. She was in the stories, the memories, the marigolds I'd plant again next spring. Karen's act had shattered something, but it also forced me to see Mom's legacy in a new way. It wasn't about a place. It was about who she was. Karen still lives in town. I see her sometimes, power walking through the park, avoiding eye contact. She's quieter now, her reputation in tatters. Jake's doing better, Tom says, volunteering at the youth center Mom loved. As for me, I'm still figuring it out. The bench is there, polished and perfect, but it's not mine anymore. The loss stings, sharp and bitter, because some things can't be undone. Not by justice, not by apologies, not by time. ND.